built on relationships, focused on people, and rooted in the community. Welcome to the Build Blue podcast. Tune in for weekly episodes featuring guests who are building a better tomorrow. You'll hear inspiring stories from industry leaders, business owners, community partners, and our team members. The Build Blue podcast, where construction comes to life. An Apex Construction Group production. Welcome to the Build Blue podcast. My name is Jess Blaze with Apex Construction Group, and I am here at Canfield in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We are live on location, so if you're watching on YouTube, welcome to our temporary new set, and I'm joined by Shelby Aanenson, new business development with Canfield, and we're so happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming, Jess. We appreciate you.
Yeah, so we're going to get started. We're going to learn a little bit more about you and your background, Shelby, and a little bit more about your company here, but we have to start with our Apex icebreaker, and we need to learn what was your very first job.
Well, my very first job when I was in high school, I worked for a mason. So I was the brick tender, and a little plug for him, Bittner Masonry, which, you know, it's been a long time since I've talked to him, and I'm not even sure if he's in business anymore, but I learned a lot in that first job. It was hard work, and the very first place he had me work at was a Burger King here in town, and it was a lot of fun. So, is the Burger King still there? It is still there. So it's on 26 and Sycamore, and yeah, every time I drive by it, I have to tell my kids that, yep, that was all that block on there. I helped with that job. So there's something to that, isn't there? When you build something with your hands that you can then see later, it's pretty cool. It is. It's awesome, and it was actually, I really enjoyed that, and me and my son talk about that quite frequently, and I'm like, yeah, that would be a good first job for you. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background. Okay. I grew up in small town Garrettson, South Dakota, which is just northeast of Sioux Falls, and graduated in 97, and then went out to Black Hill State, where played football out there, went to school for a physical education major. I was out there for 2 years, and then came back here for the summer after my sophomore year, and then got a job working at Canfield Business Interiors, and it was just going to be a summer job, and I really liked what I saw here and liked the people I worked with. And after talking to a few people that have been here for a while, just decided, you know, this is a job I want to do, because I seen the growth, and I seen guys that started out as an installer and moved up to project management and other positions within the company, and just really liked what I see. And 24 years later, I'm still here today. So. That's a great story. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about the Canfield brand. You guys have been around for over 40 years, which is incredible. So let's learn a little bit more about the history of this business in Sioux Falls. Okay, so Canfield Business Interiors, owned by Larry Canfield. He started this company back in 1976, where he ended up getting the Hayworth brand. And so after that, he expanded into this building. I believe he moved in here in 1980. And we're just a full-fledged office furniture company, and we design. We have designers, and they lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. That's okay. The designers design, and then our service department installs what we design in the furniture. So. And it's really, we're here in your showroom, and you gave us a tour before we started recording. Mm-hmm. The furniture's really modern and really cool, and bringing in a lot of those aspects that improve productivity, improve culture. So let's talk about those aspects and just the change that you've seen in your 24 years here on what customers are looking for from their office environment. Yeah, and like, Larry's vision is always like, we just don't sell furniture. We want to partner up with our customers and change their space. I mean, our motto is making space better, and we see it in our customers' face when, we take a space and we remodel it and bring in new furniture, paint, carpet, and just how you just see the employees walking through the door and how their mindset just changes, and it becomes a fun atmosphere, and it's just enjoyable.
Yeah, and you guys have a really cool kind of entertaining space, a really wide open meeting space. So you're putting your tools and your product into practice. So you're able to speak to the benefits of how it does improve productivity.
Yes, and that's what we enjoy about our space. Is our space is exactly what we do. We want customers to come in here and just friends and family to come in here and just enjoy the space we're around, and it brings our culture together, and it's just real enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. I was doing some research on your website before we came over, and there was a phrase that stood out. It said, the enthusiasm of a startup with the experience of a vet. So I would love to hear more about how your team and how you think the whole company embodies that philosophy.
Yeah, it's back to our culture. We believe that, with Larry, who's been around for 40 plus years, he is a vet, but all the people we bring in and the enthusiasm we have, that's where it's a startup. I mean, if you see startups around town, they're go-getters. They get after it, and they really want to be involved in everything to help grow their business, and that's what we feel we do at Canfield Business Interiors. So,
do you think that enthusiasm and that excitement that you've managed to keep for almost 50 years sets you apart from your competitors?
I think to a point, and I always say we really don't have competitors because Sioux Falls is such an awesome place to live and a great market that everybody gets along, great relationships, and you know what? Customer comes through our doors and they don't see what they fit, it's okay if they go down the road to another office interior furniture that fits with them. So we value what the customer wants, and we value the people. It's more of a people and relationship thing for us. So it's just how can we help solve your problem, and and it works really well for us, and it's no hard feelings if a customer ends up deciding to go somewhere else. And so, I don't know, it's it's hard to say in the world we live in, because there is, you're another office furniture company or another design build company like what we are, that it's a competitor, and we don't look at it that way. We look at it like, what, XYZ company comes into our building, and we want to help them out. And if we have what works for them and they enjoy our culture and they enjoy what they see and they want to work with us, great. If not, let us help you find someone that will do that for you. So
I love that. Let's talk about the future proofing. Okay. You were telling us a little bit about that off air, but I think it's such a cool concept. So tell us a little bit more about the future proofing concept.
So Canfield really believes in modularity. So, and with that modularity, we call it future proofing, and I think Larry even brand the phrase, so he's even got rights to the phrase. But future proofing to us is, you can come. We got raised access floor and we got modular walls, and when a developer builds a multi-tenant building, the customer's going to stay there for 5-10 years or whatever, and then when the new tenant moves in, there's always changes and adds and all that. And our goal is on that second day of adds and changes, it's not so hard. We can come in the building, and with the raised access floor, underfloor electrical, it's easy to make the changes. And what would be a 4 to 6 months process, we can come in a week and make great changes for you. So
I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes when it comes to workplace needs in the last 24 years, but even looking more recently, office and work environments have changed a lot. So how do you stay ahead of the curve and adapt your projects to meet those changing demands, trends, customer needs, technology, and things of that nature?
We just, it's fulfilling the customer's needs, and just kind of seeing where things are going, and it's honestly meeting people like you guys with Apex. It's having them conversations with contractors and architects, and what is the trend for down the road. I mean, before COVID, it was this big open concept and everyone wanted to sit close and be next to each other, and then COVID hits and we're putting up glass walls, and then we're working from home, and how does that look? And now it's back to big open spaces, and nobody wants to sit at one desk for the same amount of time. So what do casual spaces look like? What do co-op spaces look like? And how can we fulfill that need for your company?
Speaking of recent trends, walking into your showroom, it's almost like walking into a living room.
Yeah.
Or a space where you could really relax and have conversations. Let's talk about those co-op spaces and the collaborative spaces and the importance of those in a workplace.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I mean, the old way was you came into your workplace, you sat down at a cube, and you sat there for 8 hours and you did your work. I always like to say nowadays you can't find a designer. You look for a designer to help you out design, and it's like, oh, where's such and such at? And oh, they're sitting over in this place, or they're sitting. So every hour they're changing spaces, and it's just that new environment. And when working in a new environment, it makes you, I don't know, it just revives you and makes you feel more energetic. And you don't get tired looking at the same thing, and you get tired working at your cube, you can jump over to the bar over here in the corner. And we just found out a lot of customers really enjoy that. Or, you know what, you need 5 minutes, let's go play a game or do something. So it's kind of what the new generation is looking for in a work environment. So
do you find that a lot of customers are considering that new generation of the workforce?
I think so. I mean, we're in the first time ever where there's 4 generations working in the same workforce. So go back to Larry, what Larry saw, like Larry's way of working, where it's, you know what, you show up at 8 in the morning and you work till 5:30 at night and you go home. I mean, that's changed. I mean, Canfield especially, we're an open environment, and it's, you know what, you got a job to do, get it done. You can do it from home, you can do it from the bar over here, you can do it from your cubicle, wherever you want to work for. And I just see a lot of other companies doing that, and I think COVID just kind of accelerated that, where, you know what, you can work from home for 2 days a week, and then you come to the office. And we've been seeing a lot of bigger companies where now they have hotel spaces. So now you can go into, an area, and you got a pack of 20 cubes that you can pick from, so you don't have to sit in the same spot every day. You kind of rent it like a hotel. So it's very interesting to see.
I am not familiar with that concept. That's cool.
The hotel space.
Yeah.
And a lot of these managers and stuff, they just realize that, but when you're working in a different location and you're not stuck in your same cube for every day for a year, you got more energy, and you're able to. And you know what, in the morning you're working here, and in the afternoon you decide you want to go work over there. So
yeah, that's really cool. What do you think, what impact does a workspace have on a person's well-being?
I think it has a lot. So when you wake up in the morning, like and this is a common term in the world right now, what's your why? Like, why are you putting your feet on the floor? Why are you getting dressed? Why are you going to work? And if you have that place, that energetic place, and the furniture and everything's good, but people make the place too. And that's what we pride ourselves here at Canfield's, is our culture is second to none, in my opinion. And then now you have great culture, and then you have an atmosphere like you do here. It's just, I don't know, you get so much good work out of everybody, and it's just a great atmosphere to be in. So
can you highlight any specific case studies where you guys have helped take, maybe a sea of cubes and turned it into a productive, cooperative, collaborative space, or maybe a new construction? Just kind of one of your favorite success stories.
Mine would be, so I'm going to say it's Sanford Marketing. So the building they're at right now used to be the old Gateway in town. And we ended up, Gateway, when they closed down, we ended up renovating, tearing out all the cubes and everything in that place, and then remodeling it. And it's honestly like a mini Canfield showroom. It turned into they put pool tables in there and games in there for a little area to play at. And then there's also, you have your cubes like we do over there, and you have your lounge area, your collaborative areas, and it turned out, and the employees that are part of that, you know, it's at first they were like, we're sitting in this small cube, because back in the day, employees were used to like these 5x5, 6x6 cubes, and now it's one work surface. And one work surface, at first they're like, oh, we can't work in one work surface. And then you talk to them a month later and they're like, oh, well, we don't have to work in that one work surface. We can go to this collaborative area and work, and we can go over here and work. And it's just, that's my why, is seeing people's reactions to the new atmosphere they're now in, and, you know, their stagnant job, by changing what they're sitting in and what they're working in. It revives them, and it's like, it's almost like they're working for a brand new company, and then it gets productivity out of, you know, the management loves it, because now this employee that's been there for 20 years, just by changing a few things in the atmosphere they're working in, now they're revived, and they're doing a great job.
It's really interesting to hear you talk and really think about how big of an impact the environment does have on all of those things that are more intangible things, but you can feel it when you walk in your showroom. You can feel it when you hear your team talk. So really, you guys are kind of problem solvers, culture boosters that also sell furniture.
And that's what and Larry will say this a lot too, and that's what we pride ourselves on, is we want to change your culture, and we take pride in making space better. I mean, we don't want to just sell you a chair. We don't want to just sell you a desk. I mean, we want to help improve your environment, because, you know, you're a banker. You know, you're writing loans and doing all that stuff. You know, you don't want to be involved in your remodel, and let us take that over and change your environment, and then invite all your employees to make them, you know, smile every day as they come in, and then the culture stuff will come with it. So,
oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
We're in Sioux Falls, obviously. That's where you guys are located. For someone who might be new to the Sioux Falls community, what are your top 5 must-dos in Sioux Falls?
Well, the top one always has to be, you got to go down to the falls, which is downtown, and what they've done in the downtown area is just phenomenal. You know, the Phillips of the Falls, and the concerts they have down there and stuff they do. They have a First Friday every month that just brings so many people down, and all the shops downtown open up, and it's so fun. And then my next thing is, I'm a golfer, so I would say the Sioux Falls area just has phenomenal golf courses, and I don't know, there's so many around that I'm not even close to hitting all of them, but it's just, I would say golf. Number 3, sporting events. I feel we take sports pretty serious in this town, and, you know, being a high school football coach, I think to come out on a Friday night to watch a high school football event in Sioux Falls, South Dakota is just, it's second to none with the competition we have in this area. So I would say that. 4, oh, that's a good question.
Favorite spot for dinner?
Favorite spot for dinner would be anywhere downtown. I love our downtown Sioux Falls. It's just, there's so many great restaurants down there. People are so friendly, and it's on a summer night, there's nothing better to do than just walk through our downtown area. So I can't pick out one restaurant, because
it's a beautiful downtown. It's really, really cool. We've had a chance to visit some of those patios, rooftops, and it's great energy.
It is, and more to come. I mean, with the towers they're building downtown, and just the vision of our city leaders, it's second to none. And like I said, everybody, like you asked earlier about your competitors, but it's just everyone's working towards the same mission in Sioux Falls, and making this a better place to live, and inviting new businesses in, and the growth, and it's an awesome place to be at. So.
People are very friendly.
Yes.
We've felt very welcomed as we've integrated more into the community and met more awesome folks like you guys here at Canfield. So thank you for that.
And that's the goal. And like you walking in, like you said, walking into our showroom, you just got that feeling. And I feel the same thing driving into Sioux Falls. You get that feeling. You know, we want you here. We enjoy people and people-to-people contact, which we lost during COVID, and now you feel that vibe more. That it's like it's so much to like us sitting across from each other, eyeball to eyeball, having a conversation.
Yeah.
So
you don't get that on a computer screen.
you don't, 100%.
You don't. It's
Yeah.
convenient, and it's a great option to
Yes.
have if you need it.
100%.
But you don't get the same ability to connect.
I agree 100%.
Anything you'd like to add, Shelby?
No, I just, thanks to Apex for coming out and doing this. It's a lot of fun. This was one of my bucket lists, like Jamie had said, and it was a little scratchy at first, but hopefully people really enjoy it. And I love the partnership with Canfields and Apex, and like I said, the community we live in Sioux Falls is so awesome, and the growth and the mindset of people here, it's great.
I have to ask one more question. You just made me think of something. So being on a podcast was on your bucket list. Is there any reason specifically?
You know, and I'll give another plug. So back in 2020 during COVID, my wife came home one day and said, "Hey, there's this challenge out there. It's called 75 Hard. We should try it." And I'm like, so I looked at it and I researched, and you know, you think in your mind, it's 75 days of 5 tasks that you have to do. It's working out twice a day, it's a diet, it's reading 10 pages in a book, it's taking a selfie of yourself, and you have to do all them tasks for 75 days without unbroken. So through that, I ended up listening to a podcast by a guy named Andy Frisella, and back then he was doing a lot of business podcasts and interviewing different business owners throughout the place, and just really inspirational stories. And I'm like, that'd be kind of fun just to do sometime. And 2 or 3 years later, I'm meeting Jamie downtown in Sioux Falls, and we just got talking like we do, and here we go. We're sitting here talking.
Awesome.
So yes.
And for people listening who have never been a guest on a podcast, I host this podcast weekly, and it's a lot easier to host a podcast than it is to be a guest on a podcast.
Yeah.
It's hard to have someone asking you a list of questions. You're trying to give your best answer. You're trying to represent your personal brand and your company.
Yeah.
It's high pressure. You did great.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I hope we can do more, because
yes,
I'm a guy. The more I do, hopefully the better I get.
Yep.
So, but it was a lot of fun, and I do appreciate you guys coming out here, and hopefully there's a lot more to come.
Absolutely. Well, Shelby Aanenson, new business development at Canfield Office Furniture. We are live on location today in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Thank you again for having us. And I almost forgot. How can they find you online, social media for the company?
Online is canfieldco.com, and everything you need to know on there. And then we do have a Facebook page, which is just Canfield Companies. So.
Great. Awesome. Well, check them out. If you think your office needs a boost in culture, you'd be surprised how far kind of revamping the environment will go. So again, thank you so much, Shelby. You can listen to the Build Blue podcast anywhere you get your podcasts, and of course, find us on YouTube as well. We'll see you next week.